Okay, just to review, before we left for recess, you wrote down the most important word for each of your sentences, right? I want to know what you came up with. So, sentence number 1 said, early sea trade for Phoenicians was actually very limited. What word did you pick? Micah. Yes, that's what I would pick too. Why?
I don't know.
It sounds important, right? Okay, good enough. Number 2, most of their routes were within sight of land because other civilizations had dominated trade in the Mediterranean Sea. What do you think? Dominated, yes. See, you guys are getting good at this. Crete, an island located in the Mediterranean, was the first powerful trade center in ancient history. Crete? Yeah.
Right. I'm sure.
Okay. I could see trade center too, but it's because you only get one word, Maddie. Would you pick trade or center? You'd have to pick one.
Could you go trade?
Nope, you get one word per sentence. Okay. As a result, the Phoenicians gave up some trading opportunities to the stronger seafaring nations like Crete. Seafaring?
Sure.
What are you thinking?
Opportunities.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking opportunities because if they're missing opportunities, then they're missing chances to make themselves grow even more, right? Okay, the patterns of trade changed as a series of great political changes affected the once calm trading world. What do you think? Robert says political. What do you think?
Yeah.
Clarissa, what did you get?
Changes.
Changes? But what kind of changes? I'm thinking political. Okay? Foreign invaders took control of Crete and continued to capture and sack other powerful city-states one by one.
Invaders.
This one I think was a little bit easier than the first one. Okay, last but not least, now this one, I had trouble when thinking about this one. In this world of confusion and change, the Phoenicians suddenly became trade leaders and developed a rich and powerful trade empire, while other sea powers became weaker. What'd you get?
Leader.
I heard leaders, empire, rich.
Trade empire.
That's 2 words, my friend. So what one of those words tells you that they were above all others? Empire. Okay. Talk with your friend. How are we going to summarize this into one sentence for our notes? What can we say?
I don't know. How would you also
That's what we need to figure out. Maybe if you really have to, you could write 2 sentences, I guess. If you can't figure out a way to make it one.
I don't know.
Once you have an idea, write your sentence. Anybody have one they're willing to share? Nani, what do you think?
Crete dominated, which made it limited to places to sea trade and limited to opportunities of sea trade. But when political empires changed and elected new leaders, which were the Phoenix.
The Phoenicians. I like it. So I don't know if I'm going to capture this exactly the way she just said it, but she said something along the lines of, trade was limited because other nations like Crete dominated opportunities. Oh man, super sloppy handwriting.
What do you do for the
But, or,
what do you do political opportunities?
well, I think it's the political changes that ended up leading to the Phoenicians becoming an empire, right? So I'm going to put that in a second sentence. Because, like you said, how are we going to put that all in one? So I decided to do two. So I'm going to say political changes and invaders eventually led to the Phoenician Empire being created. Or the rise of the Phoenician Empire would be better. Let's do that. Okay, so I have trade was limited because other nations like Crete dominated opportunities. Political changes and invaders eventually led to the rise of the Phoenician Empire. Maddie, what you got? You can't come up with one on your own. You're copying mine, people.
Crete had a very good political empire because they took opportunities while other city-states were dominated by invaders. Possibly because their trade began.
Yes, but where is the Phoenicians in that? Because it says that Crete was one of the ones that had been in domination, but eventually the Phoenicians took over. And that, I believe you're missing in your sentence. My cousin Larissa.
Crete originally dominated the trade opportunities, but the Phoenicians used to pass them after invaders took over.
That works. But in fact, that's probably better than my sentence. Nice work. Miss Larissa.
Phoenicians were very limited in trade and missed opportunities while Crete dominated. The political changes because of the invaders made the Phoenician Empire rise.
Yes. Excellent. Okay. You guys all have your sentence? Yeah? Hopefully. I don't know if we're going to get through all of the social studies lessons I want to this week, so I'm probably going to be checking notebooks for your grade. Heads up. Consider yourself warned. Okay, we probably have enough time to do one more, and that means we'll have to finish the rest on Wednesday.
Can I get water?
Yes.
There's 2 days. What?
Yeah, Tuesday, Thursday are writing days. Monday, Wednesday are reading and social studies days. Okay, ready? Draw yourself a line or however you're organizing your notes so that you're ready to write your one word from each sentence. One more. The next one is called Trade Routes and Phoenician Colonies. Yep. Trade routes and Phoenician colonies. Okay, you ready?
Wait, are we writing it all as one thing?
I would. Because they're on the same page, so to me that means that they go with each other. That make sense? Okay. Sentence number 1. Pick your word. Ready? Here we go. Because the Phoenicians were experienced seafarers and had the technology to build ships, it was only natural that they traded by sea. Write your word. Number 2.
What is seafood?
Someone who travels by sea. Number 2. The position of Phoenicia at the intersection of both land and sea routes helped to make it a leader in trade. Number 3. The protection of Egypt also helped the Phoenicians. Or commerce centers were set up along the trade route around the Mediterranean Sea and the Near East, from Phoenicia to Spain. Five. Phoenician ships traveled beyond the Mediterranean on trips around the continent of Africa and probably north to England. Okay, you should have 5 words. Got 5 words? Yes?
Not yet.
Quick and puffy. All right. Okay, quick. We got 2 more. Ready? Number 6. Although the number of Phoenician colonies is not known, it is thought to have been at least 50. Last one. Some of these colonies developed into major port cities, including Carthage, Byblos, Malta, Tripoli, Sidon, and Tyre. All right, you should have 7 words. You've got 7 words. I want to hear what we got, and I want it from people who haven't talked yet. You've already talked. Olivia, give me a word for the first sentence. Ooh, good. Anybody have a different one? Anybody pick technology?
Yes.
Yeah. So I was debating between experienced or technology, but I feel like because of their experience, they had the technology. So that's why I went with technology. But I totally understand your thinking on experienced. Okay. Number 2. Who's got a word for me? Micah.
I chose leader.
Okay. Do we agree? Larissa, what were you going to say?
Intersection.
Intersection. Okay. So I can see the thinking on both. Why did you pick leader?
I picked leader because they were the leaders in trade, which also shows that they were probably the most top in economics.
It also goes back to the whole idea of them being experienced seafarers and having technology.
Yeah.
Okay. Why were you thinking intersection?
Because the intersection helped make it a leader.
I see that thinking too.
Section.
So I am going to agree with the intersection because it's because of where they were, their position, that they became the leaders that they became, right? Okay. Larissa, will you go ask your mom if we're going at 11:20 or 11:30? Thank you. Number 3, the protection of Egypt helped the Phoenicians.
Protection.
Yes, protection. Good. Number 4, what do you think? Commerce centers were set up along the trade route. What do you think, EJ? Okay, louder. Route. Okay.
11. Fame.
Okay. Fame. I would go with centers. Why? Why do you think centers? Why might I think that one's the most important? Where is that?
Because it's what they did and it's the idea of it.
It's what was there, right? And it's also what required the protection of Egypt. If they didn't have these commerce centers, places like shops, like commerce is a place to do business. Okay? So if they didn't have a place to do business or trade, then they wouldn't need the protection of Egypt. But because of where they were, because of where they intersected between land and sea, they were able to have all these centers. See my thinking here? Okay. How about the last one for that paragraph? Phoenician ships traveled beyond the Mediterranean on trips around the continent of Africa, and probably north to England. What word you got? Marissa?
I got beyond because beyond the Mediterranean, which is like England and Africa.
I like that word. Anybody have a different one? Maddie, what you get?
I chose Africa because it was saying where they're going on their trip,
Okay.
where they're sending their trade to.
Well, what about England? It said they went there too. So I think if we go with either, I was thinking traveled, but beyond makes sense too. It tells you where they're traveling. So I'm going to say, I'm just going to stick with my original travel because then you could talk about where they traveled to. Okay, last 2. Although the number of Phoenician colonies is not known, it is thought to have been at least 50. What word did you get? EJ. Well, it's a number, but it's a word too. Okay, he's got 50. Maddie?
Colonies.
Colonies. Any others? If I had to pick between one of those 2, I would say colonies because 50 tells me how many, right?
How many zebras?
How many colonies? Okay, last but not least, what did the colonies develop into?
Fort.
Ports. Good. Okay, now we need to write our sentence. Oh, there's a lot. Tell a neighbor, what could you say? How can we summarize what this tells us using those words for the details? That doesn't make sense to put 6 and 7 in one sentence and the other one in different sections. I agree. All right, help me write my sentence this time, kids. What do you think? What could I say? Donnie?
Nation or in an intersection which allows them to have a lot of force. They have protection from Egypt because of the force. They travel on being in Africa.
Did I get some of what you said out there? I have Phoenicia was in an intersection which allowed them to set up commerce centers and travel beyond the Mediterranean. I think I forgot about Egypt's protection. How could I add that in there? Maybe we could add Egypt's protection and to the bit about the colonies. Do you think Egypt helped protect the colonies too? We could infer that they did.
Phoenician colonies traveled with their technology between intersections to get to their trade centers with different protections.
Okay. So I'm gonna finish it down here where I have more room. With Egyptian.
Is the last
Oh.
is this the last thing we're doing today?
Yep. Protection. Phoenician colonies and ports were developed. How about that? Did I miss anything? I didn't explicitly say technology,
But you meant it.
but we inferred it, right? What do you think, DJ?
I was thinking where you can say that they use it not from over, like, but then you use the parenthesis bits.
Wait, are we supposed to use all the
Maybe, and travel beyond the Mediterranean thanks to their technology?
Wait, are we supposed to use all the important words?
Ideally, yes.
Okay.
Is it required? No. But the idea behind this strategy is that if you take one word from each sentence, you have all of your supporting details to provide evidence for your opinion on what the most important bit is. That's the idea here. Because sometimes we forget as readers that we should be pulling the words straight from the text when writing about what we've read. Make sense? Yes? I already gave you guys your picture things, right? So as a reminder, tomorrow is picture day for you kids. Then you don't take your picture because you already did.